Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly strategic secrets training. We hope that you are having a blessed week by God's grace. If not, hey, as we say, the weekend is right around the corner. I just want to take this opportunity to welcome anyone who is new. We're going to introduce ourselves in just a moment, but this is the place to be on a Thursday. We provide professional trainings for those who are professionals, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, etc., or success minded individuals like yourself. What do we do here? This community, we help people to be able to take their education, expertise, and experiences and produce products, programs, or services online, especially. If that resonates with you, then you are in the right place. If not, hey, we hope that you can still like us and follow us here. Strategicsecrets.com is the website to go. Put your name and email in there. We can be able to communicate with you, let you know when we are having these special presentations. Each week I come on and we talk about different things that can help you up level your life, your business, your career, or ministry. And tonight we have a great topic as well to be able to cover. So let's get started without further ado. I'm going to start the slideshow. Now I'm down on the bottom right. So this is the weekly training that we do again every single Thursday. We are on here. My name is Chance, U.S. Navy veteran. I'm a #1 best-selling author, minister, implementation strategist. And I again help people, professionals, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders to be able to take their education, expertise, and experiences and to create products, programs, and services and deliver them in particularly online. That's really what we want to be able to do. Had the privilege of traveling to over 26 different countries, being able to speak on a variety of topics. But my main thing, again, is parlaying and helping God's people to be able to make an impact in this world. And so that's why we are here. Again, if that resonates with you and you're not yet following us, please like our YouTube page, follow us on Facebook, strategicsecrets.com. Go there and see all the things that we have going on if we can help you make a difference. So today, what are we going to learn on this particular webinar? Today, we're going to be talking about how to tap into divine wisdom to solve your personal, business, or ministry problem. We can also include there your career. So whether you have a career problem, a personal problem, a business problem, a ministry problem, if any of those are the areas where you flow well in, then that's what you want to know today. There's some secrets that can only be tapped into when you understand these principles, because many of us are trying to solve things, we're trying to create change, but nothing is happening. And of course, with all that's going on in our current world, people are dealing with bouncing back from COVID-19. People are dealing with stress, anxiety, depression. All of these things are on the rise. And so people have lost their jobs, lost their health, lost their loved ones. And so we are all trying to pick up the pieces and move forward as best as we can. And so this can indeed be daunting for many of us. But again, we want you to know that there is hope. Never, never lose hope. We want you to know that there are secrets that you can use to be able to help yourself and help those around you. Change may seem difficult. It's not by chance, right? Not by chance at all. Though my name is Chance, but I don't want you to worry about trying to go lucky on certain things, right? Change is challenging. It's easy to say, but for many, it's difficult to actually realize and do. So if you're looking to change some habit, some behavior, maybe you got into a slump because of, the past year and a half has been just ups and downs for most people. And so you're wondering, how do I actually go back into making those good success habits, good disciplines, to be able to get back into the best shape of my life, to be able to just get back into peak mental performance and professional performance. It's been difficult. So how do you make the shift? You've been trying and it's not working. It's been hard, an uphill battle, as some would say. No problem. Don't worry about it. Today, you're going to have a way of being able to do that. And what I think you need more than anything else is that you need to implement what Buckminster Fuller calls this quotation that I love. He says, never change things by fighting the existing reality. If you truly want to change something, you must build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Okay, so again, you need a new framework, you need a new paradigm. If you keep trying something, it's not working, especially within organizations. Many organizations are very difficult to change. This is how they've always done it, and this is the way they will always keep doing it. So if you are trying to change an organization, trying to change people, your team, and things are not gelling, then guess what? Create a new paradigm that makes the old obsolete. Find a new nest, as it were. Find a new tribe, a new community, a new like-minded group of people who see and believe and think along the same similar lines, so that you can go where you need to go. And one of the things, the reason I picked this quotation, well, it's powerful on many levels, but I want to share with you a model that I have found to be helpful, and that many of the world's greatest success people of yesteryear have found to be helpful in their life as well. So it's not going to be based on theories and models that you probably know about right now. I'm going to give you some secrets that will help you to not only achieve your goals, but to be able to have sustained success, and in the future to overcome any debilitating condition in your life, any challenge that may come your way, using this strategy. And I call it, you need divine wisdom. So we're going to learn now, how can we tap into divine wisdom to solve our personal, career, business, and ministry problems, right? How can you tap into divine wisdom so you can have the solutions to any personal problem, any business or career issues, any ministry or nonprofit challenge that you may have? How can you do that? Now, what is divine wisdom and why do we need it? No matter what your theological or spiritual basis, the case is clear that there are different types of knowledge and wisdom out here. Okay, and so Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 5 through 7 tells us, surely I have taught you. This is Moses now giving the people of Israel, a brand new nation, giving them directions, instructions from God on how they can become the best nation on the earth. So he says, surely again, I have taught you statutes and judgments, just as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should act according to them in the land in which you go to possess. Therefore, be careful to do or observe them or live them or carry these things out. Why? For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who will hear all these statutes and say, notice now, this wisdom that is not earth generated, that is divine, this is what will happen. Surely people will say, this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Powerful. For what great nation is there that has God so near to it as the Lord our God is to us today? For whatever reason, we may call upon him. Isn't that amazing? That means you have insights. That means you have a reservoir, an eternal reservoir of wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you can tap into, that is beyond human, that is beyond the earthly, that is beyond the even the professional, the secular, whatever you want to call it. There are some things that just cannot budge with human wisdom, human knowledge, human resources. We need to go the extra mile. And that's my proposal. I submit to you, what you need is divine wisdom. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 18 to 21 says, let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you seems to be wise in this age, wise according to the worldly principles, worldly philosophies, let him become a fool, that he may become truly wise. For the wisdom of this world, the wisdom in the secular field, the wisdom out there is foolishness with God. For it is written, he catches the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that indeed they are but futile. Therefore, let no one boast in man's goodness, man's wisdom, man's way of doing things. For all things are yours, God's people. We have a greater insight, greater wisdom than the wisdom that is currently available. Okay, 1 Corinthians 1, 19 and 20 says, for it is written, I will destroy, this is God speaking now, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and bring to nothing the understanding of those who are so-called prudent. Where is the wise and where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this age? Has not God made foolishness the wisdom of this world? Wow. Listen, this is telling us, and James also goes in, there's a wisdom from above and there's a wisdom from below. Of course, there are people in the world that are wise. There's no doubt. There are people who are wise in the world of finances, in the world of health and science and different things along those lines. We don't doubt that. But what we are saying is, because he didn't say they were not wise. What he says is their wisdom, in comparison to divine wisdom, is but foolishness. It's futile at best. So what we are saying is that you can only go but so far. And how many of the greatest people in the world truly has tapped into wisdom beyond what was available? Because you look at many of the great people who are inspired throughout the ages and came up with theories and precepts and formulas and different things like that. These people did not necessarily get it from their learning, from their academics, right? They got them from inspiration, and that's where divine power is available. So I want to give you two stories here to underscore this. One is that we know there should have been a blank slide here, but one comes from the story of Joseph in Egypt, right? And so remember when Joseph, of course, was thriving, he was a very successful man, but then he was put into prison. While he was there, he met two individuals, right? A butler and a baker. These were officials, in the courts of the king of Egypt. So now, when they both were confined into prison, they had a dream, each of them, right? And they needed an interpretation for their dream. Verse 8 says, in Genesis 40, we find the narrative, verse 8, and they said unto Joseph, we each have had a dream, but we have a problem. There's no one to interpret the dream. So Joseph said to them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me, please. And after they told him, Joseph was able to expound the meaning of this dream, interpret these dreams for these two individuals. And it says, the chief baker saw that the interpretation was indeed good. But notice Joseph was saying here that the interpretation to this mystery, this enigma, belongs to whom? To God. That's where divine knowledge comes in. When there are perplexities and things that can that really needs a big solution, you need a big God to be able to help you to solve those things. So he says now, if you would show me this stuff, then I can help you understand what it's all saying. Man, wouldn't you like to be able to understand some of these things? The next time Joseph is introduced, which took him from the prison to the palace, was the Pharaoh now. The big man on the throne himself got his own dreams and he could not understand them. So what is he going to do? He needs a solution. His own wise men could not give him any solution. So we find this narrative now in Genesis 41. We pick it up at verse 15. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and again, like these two other individuals, there is no one who can interpret it. And all of his wise men, we call these guys that were the philosophers. These guys were the best of the best. These guys had what today they had the top degrees in everything, but they could not interpret this particular dream. So he says, but I have heard it had been said of you that you can understand dreams and you can interpret them. But notice Joseph again. Joseph is saying, listen, I know you want to acknowledge me as the one who has the power and ability to make these things known. However, Joseph said, it is not in me, but God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Who will answer? Who will give Pharaoh the answers to his puzzles, his riddles, his enigmas, his mysteries? God will help you solve them. Verse 23 now. And he said, Pharaoh, this is Pharaoh now said, he told it to his magicians, but there was no one who could explain it to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one, and God, not Joseph, but God, divinity, has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. So this advice was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. This is after he interpreted. Now we jump down to verse 37. Of course, Joseph was able to interpret the dream. And what was the response now? It says, the advice was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and also in the eyes of all of his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, can we find such a one as this, a man in whom is the Spirit of God? Wow. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, inasmuch as God has shown this or to you, there is no one as discerning and as wise as you. Notice, but he had wise men with him. He had the PhDs and and all of the other, the MDs and the DDs and all of the people with whatever background, right? The smartest of the folks. And yet he is saying this man who was a foreigner, a nobody, who just came to his knowledge right now, is wise indeed. Why? Because God had shown him and given him this wisdom. Because of that, now notice the outcome. The outcome now after this was verse 40. It says, now because of this, you shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, you see, now I have set you over the entire land of Egypt. This brother went from being an immigrant, a foreigner, being in slavery, you know what I mean? And now he is put in charge of an entire nation. He became prime minister simply because he was able to tap into divine wisdom to solve a business problem, a national problem, and a global problem at the time, or at least regional problem at that time. Joseph was able to tap into divine wisdom to solve the problem. And now even not he didn't do it for promotion, but promotion came as a result, because when you solve problem, people will pay for that. When you solve problem, it will get you into places. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the rewards. The bigger the problem, the bigger the reward that you will have. So if you want to solve small problems, keep doing that. You don't need God for that. You solve them yourself. But when you look into divinity to solve your big drama, big issues, whether it's personal, career, business, health, finances, wherever it may be, okay? In your ministry, if you are a person of faith and you have a big ministry or a nonprofit, the thing that you are looking for right now that you need a solution to, God Almighty can give you the revelation that you need to solve the problem. And I tell you, when you solve problems for people in this way, trust me, my friend, you are going to go places. Now let's go to let's fast forward many years beyond this. Now we go to the nation of Babylon. Babylon, we had a situation here. Now we have King Nebuchadnezzar. Of course, he had conquered the world as well. This was a powerful man, right? So imagine you being able to go to your prime minister, your president, or whomever rules your country, and be able now to give them a solution when they don't even know about you, but you're able to now give them a solution that will help them to solve a problem. Imagine going into your business, your company, with a solution to their problem. What is it that your business is facing right now? Okay, you're looking for promotion, you have not been getting any. But what about if you are able to solve one of the major problems in your company, in your business, in your ministry? Think of what that can do to turn things around. You need solutions, and there are answers, because there is a God in heaven who still reveals secrets. So look at now, this king had an issue. Let's see what it is now. Let's go to Daniel chapter 2. We pick it up verses 1 through 13. We're going to look at this narrative. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, this is the king now, he had dreams. In the second year of his reign, he had some dreams, and his spirit was so troubled that his sleep left him. Then the king gave the command to call whom? Notice again, similar to Pharaoh now. He's calling the big dogs, the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, the Chaldeans, to tell the king his dreams. So they came and they stood before the king. Now the king said to them, I have had a dream, and my spirit is anxious to know the dream. I want to know what it means. Tell me. Not only that, but the thing that happened here is the king did not even remember his dream. So he wanted them not only to tell him the interpretation, he wanted them to be able to tell him what the actual dream was. Of course, in verse 4, they were saying, hey, if you tell us the dream, maybe we can give you an interpretation. The king was like, nah. Verse 5, he answered and said to the Chaldeans, my decision is firm. If you do not make known to me the dream and its interpretation, then you shall be cut to pieces, and your houses shall be made an ash heap. However, if you can tell the dream and its interpretation. So again, he forgot what the dream was. He's saying, you tell me what the dream is or was, and also what it means. Then if you do this, notice again now, the blessing that will come, you shall receive from me gifts, rewards, and great honor. Therefore, tell me the dream now and tell me what it means, the interpretation. So again, that's what your business is saying. That's what your employer is telling you right now. If you solve this big problem for me, I will be able to reward you. If you solve our company's issue, I will be able to help you. If you solve our ministry problem, our church problem, our national problem, our global problem, think about it. People reward you for service. You don't just get rewarded in a silo. You got to get rewarded for something that you have solved. The reason why your boss pays you is because you're solving a problem for him. Now, depending on the problem you're solving, is the remuneration that you receive. That's why a janitor makes one thing, a lawyer makes another thing, a doctor makes another thing. Everybody is paid according to the problems that they're solving. If you want greater pay, then you must solve greater problem or come up with better solution. Also, change the people that you're solving the problem for. Obviously, you saw in Joseph's situation, Joseph solved the problem. Now notice, he solved the problem for when he was in prison, right? When he interpreted the butler and the baker's problem. But notice, they did not have the power and the ability to promote him. Okay, but when he came to Pharaoh, that key problem, he changed who he solved problem for, and that one decision in one day, he was able to be elevated to the top of the nation. We're going to see a similar thing in this story. Let's continue. Verse 10 says, the Chaldeans answered the king and said, there is not a man on the earth who can tell the king's matter. It is a difficult thing that the king is requiring, and there is no other who can tell it to the king except the God whose dwelling is not among mortals or with the flesh. There we go. There's some situation or some problem. It's not within mankind to know. It's not in their purview of current knowledge. It is something into the future. So we need divine wisdom now, inspiration to figure out the problems and the solutions to the problems of this world at this time. Current knowledge can only get us so far, right? And the knowledge and wisdom that you have can only take you where you've been. In order to get to the next level, you need another set of knowledge to be able to get you to where you want to go. Now, of course, it was difficult. These guys were not lying. I mean, come on now. How in the world are they going to tell you what you dreamt? Or unless you tell them what you dreamed, they're not going to be able to tell it to you. That's like, if they were in your bed at night, they were in your mind. They were not in your head. We can't read people's mind. And so these men were not telling any lies. But the verse continued to go on. The king stormed out furious. He was angry, and he says, go kill them all. And that's exactly what his subjects went out to start doing. They were starting to kill. And of course, now that meant Daniel and his compadres were going to be killed as well, because they too were wise men. Right? Remember, they went to the Babylonian University. They were found to be 10 times wiser. Even the king had inspected them and found them to be 10 times wiser than everybody else. So they were among these wise men. And so now, the decree went out that, they heard about the decree that they too wanted to be killed. It's like, why is the king so hasty in carrying this thing out? And so now let's see what the wise person will do in the midst of crisis now. So in the midst of crisis, somebody needs to be level-headed. Verse number 16 through 19, verses 16 through 19 rather, says, now Daniel, he went in and he asked the king to give him some time so that he will be able to tell the king the interpretation. So now Daniel, obviously the king granted this request. The king probably knew something that, this guy here, well, he ranked, top in the universities. So we're going to give him an opportunity to see if he can make this thing known. After all the other guys were saying that there's nobody who can, they were just pretty much giving up. So he said, hey, Daniel at least said, hey, I can tell it to you. Just give me some time. So he was not saying, no, it can't be known. He was saying, there's a way, but I'm going to need some time. So notice what he did, though. Notice what he did. Verse 17 says, then Daniel went to his house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they might seek mercies from the God of heaven concerning this secret. They were willing to tap into divine wisdom to solve the problem, so that Daniel and his friends might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then notice this now, because they decided to seek out divine wisdom, God's knowledge and understanding, what happened? Verse 19, the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. Man, talk about getting secret intelligence. So Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Wow, my friends, imagine right now there's a problem that you and I are having. There's a problem in your family, in your relationships. There's a problem on your job. There's a problem in your business, your career, your ministry. If you're in government, there's a problem in your city, in your state, in your country, in your nation, in your region, and maybe global leader. How can you solve this problem? I'm telling you that you have to tap into divine wisdom if you have not been able to solve or figure this thing out. So the simplest way is simple. Go and seek God for the wisdom. Seek divine knowledge. James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, ask of God, who gives to all men liberally, freely, and upbraided not, without reproach. Jeremiah 33 verse 3 also says, call unto me, and I will answer you, and I will show you great and mighty things which you did not or do not know. Now that's an open ticket. The problem is we won't ask. Pride, right? James also says, you have not because you ask not. Some of us are afraid to ask. You don't believe in God. Well, go give it a try. Act by faith. Of course, there are some protocols. We have a whole course on prayer, right? Prayers that move heaven. If you want to go check that out at strategicsecrets.com/courses. We have a course on prayer. We have a book on prayer. You can learn how to pray effective prayer. But the idea, therefore, is just simply go to God and ask God. Humble yourself. Notice Daniel was not saying, hey, I went to the Babylonian University, I can speak several languages, etc. I have my PhD, I have my doctorate degree in this, I'm the smartest. No, he humbled himself. He put all of that aside because this problem obviously is not one that his training can even solve. So there are times when hey, if God give you wisdom and knowledge in basic things, hey, use the knowledge that you do have. But what we are saying is your knowledge, current knowledge, all right, current information, current finances, current resources can only get us but so far. In order to solve the problems of the future, in order to take us to another level, in order to break down the paradigms that be right now, you got to tap into some fresh wisdom and knowledge. So my point is, I am making it known to you, go and seek the God of heaven, who also reveals secrets still to this day. He can give you what you need. All righty? So notice now Daniel again, notice his humility. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his. From where does wisdom and might come? From God Almighty, from the divine. 21. And he changes the times and season. He removes kings and he raises up kings, right? He put one there, he takes him out. He gives wisdom and he gives to the wise, and also knowledge to those who have understanding. God can give you the wisdom and the knowledge that you need to solve your problems. He can reveal, verse 22, he reveals deep and secret things. Ooh. Have you been having recurring dreams that you don't know what they mean? Even those can be the divine speaking to you, but you got to go and ask for the wisdom, because as you saw with Pharaoh, God is the one who gave Pharaoh. Joseph said, God has shown you what is to come. And he's repeated the dream twice because the thing is sure, it will surely happen, as we're going to see similar here with Nebuchadnezzar. And by the way, these two people were, from our perspective, pagan people. They were not godly people in the sense of serving the true God of heaven, but yet God still communicated with them. You can't box God into your theology. You can't box God into your basic human knowledge. Right? God is infinite and we are finite. Some of us are so hung up into our own ways that we think God is exclusive to our race, our people, our country, our this, our that. God is not bound to any one denomination or group of people. God can speak to anyone on the face of the earth. Anyone, absolutely anyone. Right? If God can use and speak to a donkey, as he did in the case of Balaam, certainly he can speak to any human being. If the vessel is open to God, God can fill the vessel. That right there should break down all barriers to know that the God of this who possess all of this world, all of this universe, that he is willing to communicate with anyone who is willing to seek him. So go ahead and seek him, right? Now, what else does God do here? He reveals the deep things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. I thank you and I praise you, O God of my fathers, for you have what? Given me wisdom and might. Notice that God, he said in verse 20, wisdom and might belongs to God. But now he's also saying, now you have now given me this wisdom and might, and you have made known to me what we have asked of you. Notice, he didn't do penance. He didn't have to go on pilgrimages. No, he simply humbled himself and sought the God of heaven, and God gave him the answer that he sought. For you now have made known to us the king's demand, the king's business, my boss's business, my employer's business, my headquarters, my denomination, my nonprofit, my career, whatever it is, my family's. You have now made known to me my family's issue, so that I can now render as your representative an answer to their problems. Isn't that amazing? So amazing. Now, of course, Daniel went in and he now is going to approach the king now. So notice 26, we pick it up, Daniel 2, chapter 2, 26 to 28. It says, the king answered and said to Daniel, are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen and its interpretation? But notice the humility here. So this is one of the principles that it takes. If you're going to tap into divinity, if you're going to ask God and get answers from him, you got to humble yourself. My people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face. That's exactly what Daniel did. Daniel was not willing to say, oh, yes, you know what? I'm so smart. No problem, king. You know, man, I spent so many years in your university. I got it all figured out. Notice he said, Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded, the wise men, astrologers, magicians, soothsayers, they indeed cannot declare to the king. Amen. So Daniel even himself is saying, listen, we as wise men, so the Chaldeans were not telling lies when they told the king that, but he already destroyed some of them, right? Be careful of making foolish decisions when you're angry. So that decision was not a good one on the part of the king, right? But now, so Daniel is even agreeing with them, but again, he's not negative. He's not just saying, no, there's not a way. But notice now, he's given all glory to the one who gives indeed wisdom. Verse 28, it says, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secret. Oh boy, this thing is amazing. There is a God in heaven who reveals secret. My friend, there is a God in heaven who still reveals secret. There is a God in heaven who wants to reveal secrets to you. And he has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions upon your head, on your bed, of your head upon your bed are these. Notice this. He is now going to explain, and let us see now the results of this explanation and how it fits. So again, just for a recap here, Daniel humbled himself. Daniel also asked his friends. So sometimes you got to ask others who are like-minded to go ahead and also join you in seeking for divine wisdom and knowledge, right? We can't go to the regular, so we got to go and find it elsewhere. But I'm telling you, you don't have to go across the sea. You don't have to go do penance and all of these things. You just get on your knees, right? And you seek out God for wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. And trust me, the Lord will give it to you. If your heart is in the right place, he will reveal these things to you. And if you solve the right problem for the right person, for the right company, for the right business, for the right ministry, at the right time, my brothers and sisters, you're going to be rewarded. Daniel 2:47-49. Now, of course, we have a big chunk of verses, right? Because we ended at 28. So now, obviously, Daniel in 29 and onwards, now he had already explained the dream, given the interpretation, and notice now the king is saying now, then the king answered Daniel and said, truly, your God is the God of gods, the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret. Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief administrator over all the wise men of Babylon. And also Daniel petitioned the king that he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Woo! Notice this, my friends. In one day, just like Joseph, in one day, Daniel's life turned upside down. Not because Daniel was seeking reward for himself, but this is just a fact that when you solve problems for the right people, for the right organization, for the right ministry, for whatever, people want to bless you. People want to bless you because you help them. So it is not a problem. God indeed likes to reward those who serve his children. And so Joseph solved an enigma for the king, Pharaoh of Egypt. Pharaoh lifted him up and gave him the promotion because it really came from God. We know that, right? Because of course, God showed his man, right? God said, this is the one who solved the problem, and therefore you need to bless him. Here we have now similar situation, far removed, many years later on. Here we have another situation now where Daniel is, who also like Joseph was what? A foreigner. They came there in captivity. They were slaves. So that's what I'm telling you. God can use anybody in both ways, right? So it doesn't matter who you are today. It doesn't matter if you're in a foreign land. You might be from Africa. You're in America. You're in Europe somewhere. God wants to still bless you. If you're from a third world country, it doesn't matter where you're from. God can use anybody. Male, female, man, woman, boy, girl, doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, how messed up your story or your past may have been. God can still work with you. God can still give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that you need. I'm telling you, these are the things that I've also seen and experienced in my own life. Matter of fact, one of my favorite verses I'm going to share with you is Psalm 95, verses 6 and 7. I'm going to share that with you because this is a principle that I've used in my life. I don't try to seek to promote myself. I don't try to kiss people's behind in order to get ahead. You do things God's way, because to me, when God gives you knowledge and wisdom and understanding, you got to apply these things. So I've done this in my personal life, in my career, and in my academics. Right? I've shared these before in my own congregation where I preach and teach. But even for I'm telling you, for school, I remember doing a master's degree and I was stuck for quite a while on one particular course, right? I think it was risk management and analysis or something like that. And I just could not get the thing. But I said, hold on, I love quoting scripture. I quote James all the time, James 1:5. Why don't I do the same? And God gave me an idea, and he put me in touch with an individual who could help me. One PDF, right? I was able to review this PDF, gain an understanding, finish the course, got an A. And not only that, so much so the paper that I wrote was so good that the professor used it to revamp the entire course. Well, I ended up graduating with that degree, summa cum laude, 4.0 GPA. And I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you the power that God can still give you wisdom and reveal secret for any area of your life. Some of us compartmentalize ourselves, spiritually this and secular this. I don't believe in the spiritual secular split. I believe that God is God over all my life, no matter what area it is. And so therefore, I don't say, well, when I go to church is when I'm spiritual and I use the word of God only there. No, if I have a financial problem, where can I get divine wisdom for that? If I have a relationship problem, what divine precept, principle, commandment, law can I put in place? Can I execute on that will bring about the results? Same thing here. There's a lot of things I don't know, but I ask God to give me the revelation. It may not come in right in a moment, but trust me, if you seek him, you shall find. That's his own word. The good master teacher, Jesus said, ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and doors will open for you. It's not rocket science, right? That means it's open for anyone. The rich, the poor, the black, the white, the Asian, the Puerto Rican, Latino, Latinx, whatever it may be, God wants to speak to all mankind. I'm using some of these earthly language so you can kind of get the idea. Again, do not belittle yourself. I can't, I'm this, who is me, woe is me. No, God is bigger than all of us. And he wants to come descend even himself to speak to lowly you and lowly me. Take him up at his word, my friend. Already? Let's wrap it up here now. So again, you saw that the secret to Daniel's success was not simply in Daniel. Secret to his success was the fact that he was willing to allow God to move in his life, and therefore he experienced the blessing. There goes my verses. Psalm 75 verses 6 and 7. I used this in my military career. This was in my first book when I shared with you my spiritual transformation journey. It says, promotion does not come from the east or the west nor the south, but where does it come from? It comes from God. He is the judge. Again, he puts one down and he lifts another up. Isn't that what happened with Nebuchadnezzar and all these other kings of the past? That's what he told Nebuchadnezzar. That's actually what the dream was about. The dream was showing him the successive kingdoms from his time. Though he was ruler, he probably didn't like that, right? Though he was ruler, it showed another kingdom will come after you, all the way down, by the way, to the end of time. And so God indeed is faithful. You don't have to play office politics. You don't have to brown nose anybody, anything. You trust God and you do it his way. And I'm telling you, God can give you divine wisdom to solve your problem, whatever it may be. So that's what we've covered today. I hope that you found that to be insightful. Again, don't be confused or swayed because of its simplicity. Again, your success is in your simplicity. As soon as you depart from it, your power and your strength is gone. Success is simple. We complicate things, but with God, all things are possible. So I've shared with you today again how to tap into divine wisdom to solve your personal, business, or ministry problems, career problem, family problem, financial problems, health problem. Doesn't matter what the problem is, global, national, your city, whatever it may be, your state, whatever problems are affecting your nation, your kingdom right now, your domain, your sphere of influence, there is divine wisdom to solve it. Will you try it? I pretty much hope that you will. Already? So that's all for today. Again, if you want to contact me, my contact information is here. Go to strategicsecrets.com. You can find all of our details there. If you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in a particular thing and you want to create a product, program, or service, you can check us out at monetizeyourskills.com. We have a course called Monetize Your Skills Academy that will help you to take your skills, your education, expertise, and experiences, wrap them into products, programs, and services that you can deliver online. Stop asking for permission to succeed, but if you do need it, I give you and I grant you the right to succeed because it's your God-given heritage and destiny. Alrighty, my friends, I will see you. Thank you again for joining today's webinar. Again, all of our resources can be found at Strategic Secrets. If you want to become an ambassador, I do ask that you will consider that seriously, right? We can help you to be able to up-level your life on a consistent basis. We have a lot of products and resources right below this video. If you want to click on the link there at strategicsecrets.com/ambassadors, strategicsecrets.com/ambassadors. Click on the link. Go there, check it out. Support us as we are able to bring other products, programs, and services to life so we can bless as many people as possible. I will see you next week. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.